Today, it's all about how to heal your gut with one change. Yep, you're going to believe me on this one. I know you are. I'm so excited to share this with you. Today, I'm here with Dr. Matt Sorrell. And if you've been following our broadcast, either on YouTube or podcast, you already know him. You already like him. He's already going to be your doctor. And so I'm excited to share this with you. But first, I'm Annette Reeder, the biblical nutritionist, and I get the privilege and the honor to share with you God's recipe for excellent health. So today, it's all about your gut. You hear the words gut instinct, it's a gut thing, it's mind-gut connection. There's a lot of words traveling out there, but I want you to be educated. And today's talk is about something that I preach about all the time in the grocery store. So we're going to delve into it today with Dr. Matt. Dr. Matt Sorrell is a board-certified chiropractic neurologist with a fellow of the American College of Functional Neurology. And he has a lot more definition, which I'll put down below in the comments, and you can read more about him. I'm going to add a link to him down below as well, his website, so you can connect with him. So today, I just want to get right to the point. Today, we're going to talk about how to heal your gut with one change. So Dr. Matt, welcome to this program.
Thank you for having me back. I always enjoy the conversation, being able to come and share some of what I know with the greater public at large. With today's topic, I guess you already alluded to, talking about, fiber, but I just wanted to make this point clear. It's not your grandma's fiber. So don't go thinking Metamucil or some of these other topical things that people are using from the CVS and Walgreens, etc. So really what we want to do is fiber being dispelled and the myths of just like, oh, it's just this extra stuff that you throw in your diet. Really, the reason we eat is to not fuel ourselves only, but to fuel the gut bacteria. So fiber isn't just for us and having the thing that nobody likes to talk about in regards to increased gut motility, making a bowel movement. That's the scientific way of being polite, I guess. But it's also getting in there and feeding your gut microbiome so that they can produce all the things that we need nutrition-wise and those short-chain fatty acids to fuel themselves and fuel the gut microbiome.
All right, so when I'm in the grocery store and I'm pointing out all these different foods that I want people to eat, I'm always pointing out the fiber. How many grams are we getting? Is this a good quality? Is it not a good quality? Because people eat cardboard and say they're getting fiber. Well, that this is not going to work for you. And so I have always labeled myself as the queen of fiber. So I'm so glad we're discussing this. So tell us more.
Well, in regards to fibers, and not all fibers are the same. So sometimes we use that word as a category and just assume it's the same. So when you go and reach and grab a kiwi, the peel of a kiwi is going to grow very different. It's prebiotic material. It's going to grow different bacteria than that which would be in the celery or spinach. So what we have to take our mind out of is thinking fiber is fiber. And so if you continue to eat just the same exact fiber and food source of that limited, 20 foods that Americans like to eat, you're only going to have a very narrow range of gut diversity. So the key here is keeping as diverse bacteria in your gut as possible, because that's what leads to better health.
This is good. So you're telling them that fiber is going to help their gut. The diversity of the foods is going to be beneficial. And by the way, I actually grow kiwi in my yard, and it's not that fuzzy skin. It's actually like an apple skin to it. So it makes it a delight to eat it, because you just said, the fiber is in the skin of the kiwi. Well, most people don't like that fuzz. So growing it yourself, you actually get more of a clean skin, and you just bite into it like an apple. It's delicious.
Well, again, the big thing that we always want to point out is that when we look at fiber is, there's chemicals in there, whether they come from vegetables, fruits, and or the grains. They have different signals that activate the nerves that go into our gut. So they actually help to stimulate the muscle activity of our gut wall. So it's a good thing from that standpoint to make sure we have good gut motility. On top of that, we are fueling the microbiome, and fueling the microbiome is what allows for those short chain fatty acids to be produced. And that turns around and starts to help out, not just feed the bacteria, but they're activating certain things within our bodies which help to suppress appetite so that we feel like we are full. So it's not just giving this bulking agent to make you feel full. They're actually sending a chemical signal to say you are full when you are producing those short chain fatty acids, butyrate, propionate, acetate. That is also going to help activate and stimulate this the fat metabolism. So you're going to upregulate your ability to mobilize fat. It's going to help decrease sensitivity to insulin. It's going to alter the way your thyroid conversion is actually happening. And it's actually going to make those tight junctions when we start looking at leaky gut issues stronger. So it's actually producing the proteins then or signaling to produce the proteins that help to stabilize the gut wall so that you don't end up with a leaky gut issue. So eating plant fiber is a lot more than just having good regular bowel movements.
All right. I really like that list. And some people are like, oh no, I didn't get everything down that he just said. So we're going to put that list of all those benefits down below in the show notes and in the comment section down below, so they can grab that list, because that was really key. Because yeah, we think about fibers like, okay, you know, for years I would go to Weight Watchers and they're like, oh, just eat lots of fiber, you'll feel full. Well, what you're telling us though, which I've learned as well, is that the fiber actually creates a sensation that says, you know, you're not hungry anymore, you know, and that's the fact that it does that shows even more how God created our foods to heal us. And you know, I don't think you're going to get that from that Metamucil. You're not going to get the same effect as you do from food. Metamucil is not going to talk to you in that way. It talks to you in other ways, but not through that way. So.
Yeah. And a general rule, you know, whether it's food, and when you look at processed foods, so a takeaway for today is, you know, the processing of food to make it where they can cook it faster and where they are able to give it longer shelf life. They've usually stripped out the essential fatty acids that are in there, because fat usually goes rancid quicker. And then two, it's also, they take out the fibers that are in a food when they're putting something up there on the shelf, just so that they can cook something quicker. It's easier to nuke it or do whatever they do in the instant heating of foods. So they usually pull a lot of those things out, and therefore, again, it's the way we commercialize food. So, you know, steer clear of the aisles where they have the things that can be easily cooked. You know, if you look at rice, you know, Uncle Ben's minute rice is only minute rice because it's got no fiber left in it.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're saying what's quick today may be a long disease tomorrow.
Yes, that is the lead to chronic disease is
There we
trying
go.
to eat instantly.
Okay, so if you could just share with people, and as we wrap this up, this has been really good. What are 1, 2, 3 tips on getting that fiber into your diet that people can say, okay, I can do this, what Dr. Matt's teaching me, because he's now my doctor. What are these top 3 things that people can do besides following me on YouTube and the grocery store, and I'll show you which foods to buy and which ones not to buy. But what are 1, 2, 3 tips that people can take away right now and get started?
Well, tip number 1, I guess, would just be, you just have to start eating. If you're not much on the regular plant-based diet, I mean, try to get in some of these different plants, whether they are in the vegetable. I mean, I love fruits. I try to limit some of those just because there is a lot of sugar in various tropical fruits, but, you know, start getting in different fruits, vegetables into the diet. If you're eating different types of grains, if you're a gluten-free person, go for those gluten-free grains and make sure they're the whole grains. Again, just get different foods in you, because different plant fibers are going to grow different bacteria. Now, the thing that I do is I like to get a broad range of things, and I don't like to sit there and feel like I'm chewing food constantly. So you can either eat the food or you can drink it. So I use a Vitamix, and I'll take a number of different veggies, mix it around kind of like a salad, chop it up, and then I will stick a handful. So I'm not trying to drink 40 ounces of something that's not very palatable. It's just, you know, 2 to 4 ounces. It's not a huge amount that you need to start with. You know, just start out with a couple ounces, and you can throw a green apple or some green grapes in there with the spinach and celery and kale to try to make it a little bit more palatable. But I've got 4 kids. I tell them that we're not just eating for ourselves, but we're feeding the bacteria, and we're trying to make those things strong. So they just tip the glass back and call it a morning, and then they scurry off to school. So my 4 kids can do it. I'm sure most of you guys can too.
So I really appreciate that tip. And it is definitely a tip that anyone can do any day, and just throw in, a fourth of a banana or a little bit of pineapple, or like you said, the green grapes or the green apples. And it can be very palatable. And, anybody can drink 2 ounces or 4 ounces of a salad and enjoy it. And just really realize that they are doing what you're saying. It's not just about feeding your taste buds. It's about feeding that bacteria. When you feed the bacteria, your whole life becomes happier. And that's just the way God designed it. All right. Well, I just want to thank you for joining us again today. And for those of you who missed our previous broadcast on the 7 steps to heal your gut, make sure you catch that, because that's where we introduced the whole idea of the diversity of fibers and the short chain fatty acids. And you can hear more about that there. We'll put a link to that down below. And in the meantime, be sure and put in the comments what topic you want us to answer. If you have any questions about this topic, we really want to hear from you so that we know we're delivering to you a buffet of information that's important to you. Now, we know what we think you need to know, but we need to know what you think you need to know. That's what we want to do here. I'm Annette Reeder, the Biblical Nutritionist. Be sure and hit the like button and subscribe so you can keep notified every time we post new videos and new podcasts. Thank you for joining us. And Dr. Matt, thanks again. And we'll put your link down below as well. I know a lot of people are going to be excited to, if they live in the Kansas City, to come and meet you and have you be their physician. And for those of you long distance, you can check him out with his website below. This is Annette Reeder, the Biblical Nutritionist, getting to serve you God's recipe for excellent health.